Salutations, sequel skeptics, Automatic here for Automatic Games. Thanks for joining me for Season 1, Episode 1 of my XCOM 2 playthrough.
Excitement continues to build as city centers across the globe prepare for the 20th anniversary of Unification Day.
Thousands line up at the site of the Great Accord, celebrating the formation of the Advent Coalition.
Keeping with their promise to humanity, 12 new gene therapy clinics will be opening in select cities by the end of the new year.
Despite the attempted attack by fringe elements, operations at the new facility in Paris thankfully remain unaffected.
In response to the unprovoked intrusion on the eve of our most beloved celebration, the speaker reaches out to us.
A small number of dissidents again repeat the mistakes of the old world.
Striking as we celebrate a benevolent savior who time and again offers only friendship and compassion.
Yet these trivial actions could never break the bond between humanity and the Elders.
Peacekeeping forces have already made several preemptive arrests of known collaborators. Advent again assures all citizens that today's celebrations will continue as planned.
Perfect.
The Advent administration reminds you to report all suspicious activity to your nearest peacekeeper. Only together can we build a better tomorrow.
Approaching position. You were right. They've definitely got their hands full today.
Stay focused. Prep Gatecrasher.
60 seconds. Now.
Signal received. Loud and clear. Okay, Gatecrasher. Your turn.
Advent forces are swarming to the blast point. We need to move on the package before they figure out what we're up to.
Now, I think it's safe to say that if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with the XCOM franchise. And I've long been a supporter. I bought XCOM UFO Defense my senior year in high school for PlayStation. And I rented the sequel, the Ocean one. Was it Terror from the Deep or Terror from the Depths? And I wasn't too impressed with that one. There's plenty of XCOM games that I haven't played. I wouldn't dare say that I've played them all. That's far from it. After all, I mean, that would mean like Enforcer, Interceptor, and a slew of titles. You know what? When Hasbro owned the IP, no. I've played UFO Defense, Enemy Unknown, Enemy Within, and a little bit of this.
We're gonna have to go through them. Stay out of sight until we're ready to strike.
Copy that.
But I'm fascinated by the series, and I long have been.
You're absolutely set.
And so this is kind of a passion for me, and I'm really interested in this, the way everything's been turned on its head. How it kind of smacks of The Man in the High Castle or Battlestar Galactica, where you've definitely lost some kind of war, and you're clearly the resistance at this point. Now, I've created a character pool of customized characters, 50 to 60 strong, representing, in some cases, real-world friends, online friends, YouTube friends. I even made some characters named after those that I've created for previous playthroughs. And I'm just kind of interested to see what the fate of all these characters will be.
Remind me to thank the old man.
You and me both. We're not out of the woods yet.
So if you are subscribed, and more directly, if you have left a comment in a previous video, there's a fairly good chance you will see a soldier at some point throughout this series that is a modest reflection of yourself. Granted, if you're an online friend, he's not going to look like you, because I don't know what many of you look like. And even my real-world friends, there's only so much I can do to get them to emulate your appearance accurately. So, I've taken some liberties, and in terms of real-world friends, I've not used any of your names directly. But I don't think you'll have to be a rocket scientist to figure out who's who. And some exceptions to that would be these two characters, Anna and Pete. They are just generated by the game itself for purposes of this tutorial level. And in fact, if something were to befall them, say they were to die, they're not going to be listed on our memorial wall. I guess we'll just chalk that up to them being resistance contractors and not part of XCOM proper. See, Anna's down. And yeah, she's not going to appear on the wall.
Crasher 2 is down! She's gone!
Damn it! You can't take risks like that. Watch your flanks.
So that's how you want to play it. Okay.
Now, of course, in the well, I guess it'll be the next episode, it's going to give us 4 soldiers that'll make up what I'll call Alpha Squad. And the game will kind of just randomly select those soldiers from the customized pool. So I'm not going to have any sway or input as to who the first showcased characters are going to be. And then even when we fly back to the Avenger, we'll find that, you know, we'll see our total force. And I won't have any sway over that either.
She's calling reinforcements. Stop that. Transmission.
Central, reporting in.
You're late. What have you been doing down there?
Taking in the sights.
Hell are these things?
They're us. At least there used to be. Human hybrid soldiers. Advent's reward for obedience and service.
We've all heard rumors. I just never believed it was true.
No one wanted to. But we find what we're looking for today. I promise you that's gonna change. Let's move.
And then when it comes to taking on new recruits, it'll allow me to hire from a randomly selected group, 8 to a dozen, also pooled from our customized bank of characters. And so I really won't have any sway over who's in that group either. But where I will be able to show preferential treatment is, you know, in terms of whom of that group I decide to hire at which point. And the way I'm going to go about doing that is, I'm going to hire or show deference to characters that have more of an online presence first. So, let's say you're one of my real-world friends and you don't have any YouTube presence at all. You're pretty much at the bottom of the list in terms of whom I'm going to hire. Let's say you're somebody that comments on every other video. Well, I'm going to hire you as soon as possible. Now, there's also going to be there's going to be some interesting, at least in my opinion, approaches to how I upgrade or update the customization of these characters as time goes on. As the recruits are hired on initially, they're going to be dressed in a wide variety of ways. There'll be nothing uniform about us at all. Very ragtag. And I think that's appropriate because it kind of reflects the fact that XCOM is hiring from these various resistance movements. Now, as the first season progresses, I'm going to enforce a little more uniformity upon the soldiers. It may even get to the point where, you know, in terms of the male soldiers especially, I have them all shave off their hair. It'll grow back over time, but you know what I mean, just to enforce this kind of militaristic regimen upon them and get them into uniform. And ultimately, yeah, so where the recruits will have very strong identities initially, but they'll be stripped of it as we progress. And then as time passes and a soldier survives and gets to be a high-ranking officer, he will be able to reclaim a lot of that identity. And their hair, I'm going to make it grow back over time. Now, another thing I want to kind of implement is if a soldier isn't wearing a helmet and they are gravely wounded, I'm going to give them a scar. If they're gravely wounded by fire, I'm going to give them a burn. If it's really bad, they might lose an eye. I don't know, but I'm going to implement some customization aspects along those lines as well. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Now, I briefly want to discuss some of the carryover characters, story characters, or prefabricated personalities, such as Central here, John Bradford.
Let's hope our intel was good.
This is the place.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Looks like there's an access panel attached. If you got me a better look, I might be able to...
Next time. Let's get out of here.
Bradford is second in command, XO to the commander, and so no pun intended, okay, pun intended, he's very central to the storyline. Another character would be Raymond Shen, Dr. Raymond Shen. He is our chief engineer, and so when the scientists, when they reverse engineer alien technology, he pretty much rebuilds it into weapons and utility items that we can gear up with and utilize in the field. Another character would be Valen, Dr. Valen, or what was her first name? Moira Valen. And she is our lead scientist, or she was our lead scientist. And so she would be the one doing that reverse engineering. She would, you know, investigate alien technology and biology, and based on her results, Dr. Shen could get to work in engineering. She even went so far as to, like, interrogate alien species, which I always thought was pretty ballsy of her, but nonetheless, that was our lead scientist. But the character that I really want to talk about for a second is Peter Van Dorn. We rescued him in Alien Unknown, or Enemy Unknown, I'm sorry, and rescued him from a convoy, a UN convoy that was attacked. And I actually made him part of our ranks. I created a character in his name. Granted, he started out as a rookie in that case, even though the guy's rank should have been Colonel. Well, for XCOM 2, you can actually input his name and unlock him. And he comes at the rank of Colonel. And, you know, some viewers might look at this and be like, dude, you're cheating. Well, it's a hard game, so forgive me. And I'm not playing on beginner mode by any stretch. But anyway, yeah, I'm also not playing on Iron Man or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, please don't fault me too much for bringing Van Dorn in. I kind of like having a field officer, and I won't abuse that. I won't use him in too many missions at all. But yeah, that's the other character that I wanted you to be aware of. He's going to be basically our field commander. And there'll be a few other carryovers, but they're specific to my previous playthroughs, so you won't recognize them, so I'll go ahead and tell you their names now. Javier Valdez, and William Lee, and Frederick Corky. And so, these three guys, I built them into the pool as well, and I'm trying through Save Scum to get at least 1 or 2 of them at the beginning of my game, because I want them to be squad leaders. Even if other people outrank them, they are the veterans from the previous iteration. So I want them to be squad leaders as we start off. There's no guarantee that they'll survive, and other people might take over for them. But yeah, Javier Valdez, William Lee, and Corky, Frederick Corky. Hopefully we get them out the gate.
Carefully! There's potentially decades of atrophy to contend with.
Wish we had more time.
I don't disagree.
But as it stands now, we risk losing the patient if we don't begin the removal procedure immediately.
We're ready.
Good. Then let's get on with it.
Remarkable.
Just like 20 years ago. We were still calling it a war back then. Was coming.
Response from the cerebral cortex. Good. Prepping for cranial intrusion. I've managed to identify the connection. Preparing to make final incision.
These readings are getting really erratic.
Of course they are. These implants were never designed to be removed. We are risking severe...
No plan B here, people. Do it.
Doctor! No signal.
Pupillary response normal. Vitals stabilizing. Procedure complete.
Told him it would take more than that to keep you down. Welcome back, Commander. Glad to see you're finally coming out of it. Don't envy the headache you must have, though. Still, can't fault Dr. Tygan. Especially as no one's even attempted something like this before. Easy. We're still not entirely sure what they did to you. That chip was buried halfway into your skull. Lost a lot of good soldiers looking for you over the years. Almost gave up hope you were still out there. Acted on the intel as soon as I got word. Not sure what you remember, but a lot's changed. Did the best I could, but the last 20 years have been tough without you. You feel like catching up. Shen has the archive up and running on your terminal. Otherwise, I'd go see Dr. Tygan when you're ready. There's some things you should know. He'll be better at explaining them than me. It's damn good to have you back, Commander.
So there you have it. We're going to call this first season Known Enemies. See what I did there? So yeah, it'll be no mods, because we're on console. And we'll utilize all the DLC. And I'm anxious to get into it. I'm looking forward to it, and I do hope that you'll join me for this series. And we will find out what fate has in store for us all. Anyways, this is Automatic for Automatic Games. I do appreciate you watching, and if you like this, as always, if you are subscribed, I will talk to you soon, friends.